Rene Elanga made 55 appearances over 3 professional seasons at United, left them in the past yesterday, running over 70 yards to score the only goal in Forest 1-0 win last night. Remarkable goal.
Ali, did you notice anything about that goal though? And it's happening quite a lot.
Defending.
Mazwari, right? He's last man on the halfway line.
Yeah.
So they're all in the box, right? But he's on the halfway line, last man. But instead of standing on the halfway line, which gives him a split second longer to make a decision, he's 25 yards into the half.
Yeah.
So when the ball breaks, he's got a decision which takes 1 second. If he went back to the halfway line, he could make that decision in 2 seconds, whether to go to the ball or just kill the space behind him. He's too far up the pitch. There's lots of teams doing it. You should leave someone on the halfway line, and they've got longer to make a decision on a counter-attack.
I know. I agree. I just think hindsight's the greatest thing in the world. I think Garnacho's got to take a yellow card.
You've got to foul him, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got to take it.
You talk about it in training a lot.
That said, it was an absolutely brilliant goal, and it meant they failed to win back-to-back games. This what a start that is. United haven't failed to win back-to-back games in a season for more than 100 years. Aid told us, but they've still got to do it this season. United are stuck in 13th, a whopping 7 points, even the top 10. Manager Ruben Amorim says it's the same old story.
I had that conversation with you guys since I arrived. So we had a good moment, and then we go down again. But there was times that we go down with the worst performance. So I'm seeing things. So we will continue to try to win matches, but we are improving the way we play football.
Okay, join now for more on this is Manchester United, former Manchester United first team coach Fergus Wrightham and Rene Meulensteen. Rene, a very good morning. How are you, mate?
Morning, Rene.
Good morning, Dean. Good morning, Ali. I'm very well, thank you.
Great to hear. Thanks for joining us this morning, Rene. First of all, what did you think of last night's game, and what do you think of Manchester United last night overall?
I thought the first half, it was a bit of a game of two halves, to be fairly honest, Ali. I thought that Man United sort of dominated the first half. That had a little bit to do the way that Nottingham Forest set up, dropped a little bit deeper, give Man United plenty of opportunities to find players in the pocket and then turn and run at them. They didn't create, let's say, a lot of really clear-cut chances, but a few moments, you know, that they sort of were challenging the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper. And then Elanga's goal just turned the first half on its head. And I thought the second half Forest was much better for, I think, the larger part of the second half. And only, I think, in the last 10 minutes when Forest were thinking, listen, we need to get this 1-0 over the line, they sort of dropped a bit deeper. They had to defend for their lives, which they did fantastically well. Man United made a few changes, but again, apart from the little Harry Maguire attempt that got cleared of the line by Murillo, that was it. But other than that, they didn't really create an awful lot.
Rene, I was looking at the game, and I'm looking at Manchester United, and I'm not sure what I'm watching, and I'll try and explain myself. I'm looking at Zirkzee through the middle, who I clearly don't think is an out-and-out number 9. He doesn't play like an out-and-out number 9. They start Fernandes higher up, who has a shot at goal and a header, and is always involved in things. They make the changes second half. They clearly, I think, look better without creating an awful lot, as you say. Højlund, who is an out-and-out centre forward, might not be scoring as many goals as possible, and they put Garnacho, I think, wider to receive the ball so he can isolate a fullback, and I just thought they looked better. But I look at United, I'm concerned. Zirkzee through the middle, they're not creating an awful lot of chances.
No, but you're spot on. You're spot on, Ali. He's not an out-and-out number 9. You know, when you saw straight away in the second half when Højlund came in, he made a few really striker type runs, you know, which they can, but obviously, you know, he's struggling in other areas of the pitch. Bruno Fernandes dropping deep, we've seen it before. We saw it in the Everton away game where Everton was all on top of them, and as soon as Bruno Fernandes dropped in the midfield, they suddenly got grips of the game. Because can you imagine, obviously it's not a great season for Man United anyway, but take Bruno Fernandes out of the team, where would they be?
I was going to ask you that, Rene. Like, you know, we've heard Amorim saying that he's unsellable. Fernandes, and they keep searching for something to hang on to, and the hope was with Højlund, Garnacho and Mainu at one point, 3 young lads they could build a team round. Now it's gone on to Fernandes. When you were at Man United, were there any players that were unsellable in your squads? Or is it a queue?
No. But I mean, obviously, there's always players that you want to hold on to, and there were plenty of them. But it's the nature of the beast, and the market how it is. If players want to better themselves, or go somewhere else to another club, to another country, it's hard to stop. And then it's the nature of the beast, like I said, and the market how it operates. So it's hard to stop. I mean, you do hear the rumours, at least that's what I hear, that obviously maybe Real Madrid might be interested in him, which I can see because Modric is obviously getting older, and I think he would fit like a glove.
Yep.
In that Real Madrid team, and I tell you what, he would be an absolute ball for him with all the players around him and his passing range. He would just. Be a joy. But I do think Bruno is very committed to Manchester United, and I think they can't afford to lose him, really. But it needs strengthening all around. I mean, we talk about so many positions, but even the back line is not a settled unit. No. They still keep conceding goals. The midfield area, with all respect, with Casemiro and Eriksen had great careers. They can't cope with
no
that.
Legs.
No legs. And again, we keep talking about the same problem forward week in, week out. So what I feel with United is exactly how Amorim comes across, unconvincing.
Yeah.
You don't really know what you're going to get into.
Rene, one thing I noticed yesterday, Xerxes obviously playing with his back to goal. The ball with his centre forward has to stick. In that system, if you give the ball away, your centre forward keeps losing it. You got Casemiro in a 2 in the middle of the pitch. He's playing in a 2. He hasn't got the legs to play in a 2. And every time Xerxes give the ball away, as Garnacho's out the game, Fernandes is out the game, he's left with 2 midfield players and they get him popped around, outnumbered. So Højlund comes on and stretches the game that way.
Yes.
He runs in the channels and keeps the ball that way. But I think there's a few things. Xerxes gave the ball away 8 times on the trot last night. And that's got to be his strength. If he plays up there, he's got to get hold of the ball.
But it's also, Dean, it's also not Højlund's strength. You've seen that before.
Yeah.
Played up top. He couldn't handle, and that is exactly what you say. It all depends on what space the opposition back 4 leaves for you. If it's a lot of space, you want players to be able to run in behind, so you can exploit that pace. If there's not as much space, you want strikers that can hold up the ball and bring other players into play. And if you haven't got them, like you just said, and I don't think both Højlund and Xerxes haven't got that quality at the moment, which creates massive problems.
Rene, brilliant. Thanks for joining us this morning. Have
Rene.
a great day. Appreciate your time.
No problem, thank you.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.